Hey y'all, today we are going to look at properties of logarithms. There are three of them that we are going to look at. We're going to look at the product property, which is the answer to multiplication. We're going to look at the quotient property, which is the answer when we are dividing. And then we're going to look at the power property, where we're raising it to another exponent. Okay? All right, so for today, we are just kind of rewriting and simplifying. We're not actually using these to solve like we were doing last time. Okay, so today we are just simplifying. We're going to leave our answer as a logarithm in kind of simplified terms. Okay, so the product property says that the log base b of two numbers multiplied together is the same as log base b of m plus log base b of n. Excuse me. So what you're going to see is you're going to see this to start with, and when you see this plus sign of these two logarithms with the same base, you're going to know that you can just multiply these two values here, multiply m times n, and you're going to kind of consolidate that into one logarithm by multiplying. Okay, so when we see plus between our two logs with the same base, then we are going to multiply these two values. Okay, so I got a couple examples here. Pause and get them written down so that we can go through them. Okay, all right, so the first thing we check for is we check for the same base. I see the same base. In between them, I see a plus sign, so that is our power property. So we're going to take these two values right here, this 7 and this 4, and we're going to multiply them together. So it's going to look like this: log base 2 of 7 times 4, and then we multiply 7 times 4, and we get 28. So what we did was we consolidated, or condensed is the word that they use, these two log values into one by using the product property. Okay, all right, number 2, they both have logs. Do they have the same base? There's no number here, so what number is there that we don't need to write? A 10, yep. So we're going to take our two numbers, and since we have a plus sign in between them, what are we going to do with those two numbers? We're going to multiply them together. So we're going to do 25 times 4, which makes 100. So that's the log of 100. Okay, checking for log, checking for our same base. So we're going to look for the plus sign, which tells us to do what with these values? We're going to multiply them together. So we're going to have log base 4 of 2x times 4x squared. So when I consolidate that, or condense that together, 2 times 4 is 8, and x times another x squared. How many x's is that going to be? This is 1x, and then we got 2 more. That's going to be x to the third. Sorry, y'all, got something in my throat today. Okay, so that's the product property. Pretty easy. Okay, the next one is called the quotient property. Quotient means the answer to a division problem. So if we see this, log base b of a fraction, m divided by n, we can split that out into log base b of m minus log base b of n. Okay, and again, for what we're doing as we're solving, it's more common that we will start with this, and we're going to work our way back to this. Okay, so again, looking for the log, same base, then a subtraction sign. We're going to write it as fraction, and it's whatever comes first divided by whatever comes next. Okay. All right, so we got a couple examples here. Same base, cool. Okay, I see a subtraction sign right here, so So I'm going to consolidate this, log base 3. The 24 comes first, it goes in the numerator. The 8 comes next, it goes in the denominator. And we can reduce that. 28 divided by 4 is 3. Okay. And again, this is how we're leaving our answer. I know last time we learned how to find our final answer from this, like to evaluate this, which is cool, but that's what we're going to do next week. Okay, we're going to kind of throw it all together into our evaluating. Okay, so right now we're just simplifying. Log base 2 of 15 minus log base 2 of 15. Anything minus itself should really equal 1. Well, no, that's a lie. Yeah, let's early. Anything minus itself is nothing, right? This should be 0. So let's see how that works. So we have the same base, log base 2. We have a subtraction sign here. So what am I going to do with my 15s? We're going to divide them. 15 divided by 15 is 1. Okay, so just to prove that this would be 0, what we did last time, 2 to the what power equals 1. Anything to the 0 power gives us 1. Okay, so this is simplify. Leave your answer in logarithmic terms. This would be evaluate. Okay, so for today we're just simplifying. Okay, last one. For this section, log base 4 of x to the 9th minus log base 4 of x squared. So we got the same bases, we've got 4's there. I see that subtraction sign, so what am I going to do with my x values? We're going to divide them. So going back to our exponential rules, when I have x to the 9th over x squared, what do I do to those exponents? Subtract them. 9 minus 2 is 7. We're going to leave it in the numerator because there were more on top to start with. And we don't have any way of evaluating that. We have x values. Okay, so that is the quotient property. Okay, and our last rule is the power property. Okay, so if you see log base b of m raised to the n power, like it has this extra power, this extra exponent, we're going to bring that n out to the front. So it's going to come in the front, and we're going to multiply the whole log by that value. So the n comes out to the front as multiplication. Okay, so in reverse, again, we're going to be most likely, we're going to be starting with this. So what we need to know is that this n that's being multiplied out front is going to come over here and make an exponent on whatever value is there. So the n comes in here to become the exponent. Okay, so pause, write these couple down, and then I'll show you how we put them all together. All right, so we have 5 times the log base 4 of 2. So this 5 out in the front is going to come over here as an exponent on the 2, and it will look like this. Log base 4 of 2 to the 5th power. So do we want to leave it like that? Probably not. We're going to go ahead and simplify 2 to the 5th power. Okay, so let's do this. I'm just going to use my hands. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2, 8, times 2, 16, times 2, 16 times 2 is 32. Log base 4 of 32. Alright, number 8, 7 times log base 2 of x. So this 7 is going to come over here as our exponent. Log base 2 of x to the 7th power. We can't do anything else with that. And 1/3 times log of 8 exponent log, we got a base 10 there. If you want to write that in, you can. This is 8 to the 1/3 power. So 8 to the 1/3 power. So I need something that I multiply 3 times to make 8. 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 to the 3rd power is the same as 8. So reversing that, if I start with 8 and I take it to the 1/3 power, that's like a cube root. Like we would have written it like this. Like what number times itself 3 times makes 8. So this is just going to be log of 2. Okay. Now I will let you know that you can do that on your calculator if you want to. Okay, we're not doing the log stuff right now. Hold on, let me get my calculator turned. We're not doing the log stuff right now. We are just doing 8 to the 1/3 power. Okay, so 8 exponent, my exponent is right here, raised to the 1/3 power. And it says 2. Okay, so you can double check those on your calculator if you need to. Okay, so let's put this all together. This is called condensing logs. Condensing means consolidating, right? Minimizing, simplifying. Okay, so we are going to rewrite this as a single log. We do not need to evaluate, but we do want to simplify if possible. Okay, so take a minute to write these down, and we'll go through these, and I have a couple more complex ones on the other side that we'll do as well, just so we see plenty of examples of this. All right, so I'm going to work down for each of these instead of going across. Okay, so on number 10, 2 times log of 6 minus log of 9. So I have the same base, common log, base 10. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with any multiplication. Okay, so what do I do with this number that's out in front? Just this is our power property. So this 2 is going to come over here onto the 6, and it's going to say log 6 to the 2nd power. Right? Minus log of 9. Okay, so now I have a subtraction sign in between my two logs with the same base. So when I have a subtraction sign, what are we going to do? We're going to divide. So I'm going to do 6 to the 2nd power divided by 9. All right, what's 6 to the 2nd power? 36. So that's log of 36 over 9. 36 divided by 9 is 4. Okay, so here's the deal. I could have written that in a lot less steps, but as the first example that we're doing, I wanted to show you each step one at a time. Okay, probably what I would do in the future is I would just jump straight to this line right here. So I see the subtraction in between, so I'm going to divide this first value with the second value, bring in my power, 6 to the 2nd power, divided by 9, and then go straight from here to my final answer. Okay? But write down as many steps as you need. All right, number 11, 4 times log base 4 of A minus 2 times log base 4 of B. Okay, so a couple things that I noticed. One is I have the same base. If I had a different base, I could not do anything at this point. Okay, I see a subtraction sign, so subtraction means we're going to divide, and then I see these numbers in front of both, so these numbers are going to come over as exponents. Okay, so this 4 is going to come as an exponent on the A, and this 2 is going to come as an exponent on the B, and then I'm going to divide them because I have a subtraction sign here. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that at one time. So I have my log base 4. I'm going to change this to my exponent, A to the 4th power. And we said that this subtraction sign means for us to divide. And then I'm going to make this into my exponent, B to the 2nd power. Can I reduce that at all? If I've got A's and B's, Nope. Just like that. Okay, all right. 12, I see multiplication in the front of each. So those are going to go as exponents. So if you want to do this, you can. Okay, now look at this one. This 3 is going to come over as an exponent with this number that's already here. So we'll deal with that in just a second. And then in between here we have a subtraction sign, so that is divide. All right, so log base 4. So we're going to start here. So the 7 comes over on the u, so that's going to be u to the 7. And then the subtraction sign means division. And then this 3 comes over onto this exponent with the 2 that's already here. So that's going to be like v squared raised to the 3rd power, right? Do y'all remember what we do with those exponents? This is multiply. Yep, so that's going to be v to the 6th power. And again, I have different letters there, u and v. If they were both u's, then we could simplify it a little bit farther, but we don't need to. All right. Well, let's see. Log base 2 of 15 plus log base 2 of 4 minus log base 2 of 6. Okay, so we got same base for all of them, which is awesome. Okay, so we're going to have log base 2. So we're just going to start at the front and work our way through, which kind of like an order of operations thing. So what do we do here with this plus sign? What am I going to do with my 15 and 4? We're going to multiply them together. So I'm just going to write 15 times 4. The next thing I see is a subtraction sign. So in our logs, subtraction means for us to divide by 6. So 15 times 4 is 60. 60 divided by 6 is 10. Okay, or if you type this into your calculator, 15 times 4 divide 6, you'll get 10. Okay, so let's look at a couple that are a little bit more intricate, shall we say, a little bit more detailed. And really, these have fractions in them, which is kind of what makes it a little bit harder. So I just want to go through a couple of those. Okay. All right, log base 3 of 4 plus log base 3 of y plus half log base 3 of 49. Okay. All right, so what do these plus signs here tell us to do? We're going to multiply. And then this half is going to go where? As an exponent on the 49. Okay, so that would look like this. Log base 3, 4 plus means to multiply. I know that sounds really weird, but in logs, when you see a plus sign, that means multiply, times the next value with the other plus sign, so that means to multiply again. And then we're going to do half as our exponent. So this is going to be 49 to the 1/2 power. Okay, so 49 to the 1/2 power is the same as the square root of 49. 1/2 power is the same as the square root. So this is going to be 7. So I'm going to have 4 times y times 7. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 7 and get 28y. So 4 times 7 makes 28, and the y just stays there. Okay. All right, we're going to do 2 more, just with the exponent stuff, because it's a little different. All right, 1/3 parenthesis log base 5 of 8 plus log base 5 of 27, close parentheses, minus log base 5 of 3. Okay, so again, I have the same base for all of them, so I can consolidate this into one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this number out in the front, and we have to distribute it to everything in this parentheses. So it's going to go with this 8 as an exponent, and it's going to come over here with the 27 as an exponent. Okay, so I'm going to have log base 5 of 8 to the 1/3 plus log base 5 of 27 to the 1/3 minus log base 5 of 3. Okay, so 8 to the 1/3 power, we already said 8 to the 1/3 power was 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 gets us back to 8. And if I did 27 to the 1/3 power, what times itself 3 times makes 27? 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, so I'm going to have log base 5 of 2 plus log base 5 of 3 minus log base 5 of 3. So what do our numbers, or sorry, what do our operations now tell us to do? We're going to put it all into one. Log base 5, start with the 2. This plus sign tells us to multiply times the next one, which is a 3. This subtraction sign tells us to divide, so we're going to divide all of that by 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we went from all of this to that. Okay, and again, you don't necessarily have to write down all of these steps depending on your comfort level. If you could go straight, like maybe instead of writing it out like this, you wrote it in this fraction form, so it could kind of look like this. You could do log base 5 of 8 to the 1/3 times 27 to the 1/3 divided by 3. That's times right there. Okay, so this line here maybe could have gone straight into your consolidated form, and then you could change the numbers, or you could type in your calculator, whatever. Okay, cool. Last one. All right, how about pause? Can you do this one by yourself? Come on, y'all. I know you can. Don't be lamos. You can do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just consolidate this all, and then we'll evaluate. Okay, so I have 6 squared minus, that's division, and then whatever we get there, we're going to have to add the log of 3. So really this times 3 goes with our numerator, right? Let's just go ahead and evaluate this out. So 6 squared is 36. 16 to the 1/4 power is 2, because 2 to the 4th power is 16. So 36 divided by 2 is 18. So we're going to have log of 18 plus log of 3. So I still have this log of 3 in here that we're bringing down. So now this is plus, so we're going to multiply 18 times 3 and get 54. Okay. Or right here, we could have put this 3 in the numerator back over here with the 6, because that's being multiplied. So it's going to multiply by the numerator, not into the denominator. Okay? All right, y'all. Good work this week. Practice. Ask questions if you have them. Love you. Bye.